On today's video, let's talk about Sunset Canyon and Lost Canyon coming up in Lost Kingdom. This video is the beginning of a series of videos about Sunset Canyon / Lost Canyon. It's all about the basic mechanics in this game mode, as well as first few tips you should know about how to set up your marches, how to pick your commanders, how to line up your marches, how the basic mechanics work, as well as why you should be doing Sunset Canyon every single day as much as you can. So, if you have any questions about Sunset Canyon, don't understand really well how it works, or are struggling with it, make sure you drop a like on the video, sit back, enjoy the content, and go. Hey there YouTube, welcome back to Gekko Gaming. Today we start a series about Sunset Canyon. This video, as I mentioned, is going to be all the basics, and there is going to be a playlist in the description down below with all the videos about Sunset Canyon. The idea is going to be for this series not only to show you basic mechanics, but also show you a few things that I did as I was doing Sunset and Lost Canyon, what I improved, what I changed, how I lost one march but then won the next one because of a very small change based on the composition of my opposition, so forth and so on. In here for now, let's start talking about the basics. Before that, I am a sponsored content creator by Rise of Kingdoms. Did you know 56% of you are not subscribed to the channel? What are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell. You guys have been amazing lately with the subscriptions. Thank you very much. Here's the thing. Sunset Canyon has been in the game for quite a while now, and it's a game mode that is a bit tough to understand. I am still struggling with it a little bit, but I think that there is enough knowledge to at least get you guys going with the basics. So the way this game mode works is you have the ability to set up 5 marches, which you can place in this 2x4 set of positions, and it's important to understand the importance of each position. The front row is the one that's going to get hit first. The back row is the one that's going to get hit second. And the way these marches are going to charge at each other is forward charging. So in this instance, Edward is going to go up against Pelagius. Minamoto and Richard are going to target Ethelfled first, and then they'll target Kusunoki. Ramses and Sun Tzu are going to target Sun Tzu, and then they'll go target Baybars. The same exact thing can be said from the opposition side. Pelagius is going to charge at Edward. Ethelfled and Kusunoki are going to charge at Minamoto. Sun Tzu and Baybars are going to charge at Ramses. Once either of these sides loses the front march, then the forward-facing marches are going to go up against the back one, and only then work towards the next tile. So, for example, if right now Edward was up here and Pelagius was down here, Edward and Pelagius would go up against each other. Why? There's a 2v2 happening here, a 2v2 happening here, and nobody targeting him and nobody targeting him. Therefore, they'll go fight each other. As soon as Edward or Pelagius, whichever one wins this, wins, then the march surviving is going to go up against the front march of the nearest spot. So in here, theoretically, if Pelagius beats Edward, from there, Pelagius is going to go up against Minamoto and come help Ethelfled and Kusunoki. If Edward beats Pelagius, then he's going to go up against Ethelfled and then Kusunoki. Very important to understand the way priorities happen, because positioning your troops is very important to ensure you win. How do you win in this game mode? There are 2 ways to win. You either run out of time and therefore you defend successfully, or you beat your opposition's marches. Both situations happen frequently. If 2 folks, very strong folks, go up against each other, more often than not, if they have a correct setup, time runs out and the defending side wins. Who is the defending side? The defending side is the side that is not challenging. There are, again, 2 sides to this. The challenger side and then the defense side. As you can see, my defense is not set up, and we will set it up in a future video in here. It is set up on the phone, not on the computer. With that being said, in Sunset Canyon, you can also look at the history of your fights, see who has defeated you as well as who you've beaten, and you can take revenge on whoever defeated you by clicking revenge and trying to challenge them back. as you can see, I currently have 7 challenge attempts every single day, and these reset every single day. However, there's also a season, quote unquote, which resets every single week. You can get rewards for season rewards as well as daily rewards, but the important part of understanding the season is the extra tickets. You can see right here, I have 2 extra tickets available for 2 more attacks in Sunset Canyon on top of the challenge attempts. The way I got these is by doing my daily activities. When you finish all daily activities, you get an extra challenger ticket. It's important to know that once the season ends, your challenger tickets go away. So you really want to make sure you're utilizing them before the season ends. Now that we talked everything you need to know about the mechanics, about how marches work, about the defense, offense, tickets, and all that good stuff, there's one more thing you should know. When you either win or lose in Sunset Canyon, you're awarded, among other things, a treasure of the warrior, which is the spoils from Fearless Warriors of Canyon. And this can drop you a good amount, not only of materials for equipment, but of blueprints, and some very, very, very good blueprints, like, for example, my Ramses Golden Age. That's where it comes from. With that being said, let's talk about a first setup. So when you're attacking as well as defending, you need to understand that the positioning of your marches mean a lot. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to have a mix of tank marches, damage per second marches, and perhaps somewhere within that, some buffs or debuffs. So if we go take a challenge at someone like this, we can see that in his marches, he has his tank in here with Richard and infantry, Mehmed right behind him with some infantry as well, Yi Song-ye doing our area of effect damage, trying to do as much damage as humanly possible, his Cao Cao with cavalry, and Scipio Africanus with a mixed set of troops as a leadership commander. Now, the first thing you should know about setting up your marches is that you really want to prioritize level 60 commanders. The reason you want to prioritize level 60 commanders is they will be able to get as many marches as possible, as many troops as possible within a march. The other thing you should know is that VIP level does affect your amount of marches in here, which is how I have 105 marches in my Richard, troops in my Richard, and his Richard only has 100,000. So VIP does play a little bit of a role within this game mode. One of the things that folks tend to do is they tend to go take out the DPS first, trying to take damage out first, and then the tank last. But there is really too much to talk about in here for a basic video. And so let's talk about 3 different formations that are very, very successful as of right now in Sunset Canyon. The first one, which is a very basic one, is essentially sending all your marches to the one side and your tank very far away to the other. In this situation, what will end up happening is that my tank Richard is going to go up against Cao Cao, Yi Song-ye, and Scipio Africanus, while my 4 other marches are going to go up against Richard and Mehmed. The results in here are going to be that essentially my tank is going to try to hold on to 3 marches, while these 4 are going to go fight Richard first and then Mehmed in a 4v2 scenario. This is one of those very successful situations where folks essentially get the tank to tank a few marches and the rest of the marches to go fight 4v1s and 4v2s. For this, you need a very, very strong tank. If your tank goes down before theirs, then your strategy can really go upside down. The next very usual march setup we see is something like this, where folks have been trying to hide their tank somewhere within the middle, either at the front or at the back. It really depends on what they have available. So that essentially there is a 2v1 situation in here of a Richard against a Richard plus Mehmed. Ramses doing damage. And then whatever you do with these marches would be trying to do like a 1v1 scenario where in a case like this, for example, you have Yi Song-ye going up against Minamoto countering Yi Song-ye, and then Edward doing some damage to Yi Song-ye. In this set of mixed March, Minamoto is going to have a little bit of a tough time, but Edward, as a damage dealer, is going to do a little bit better. And then essentially, the trick would be to try to hide your tank somewhere within the middle so he doesn't really get targeted by everyone and survives longer. The final less recommended march that I've seen a lot of folks using is spreading around your troops. I don't think spreading around your troops is a good idea. More often than not, folks have them bunched up in something like this or that or this type of scenario. And quite frankly, we'll talk about all of these formations in a future video. But right now, let's go look at this and how this will work out. Let's get a quick setup going on in here. I really would like my Sun Tzu, take a little bit of the load off of here, even though it really won't matter. And quite frankly, I would like my Edward to survive a bit longer. So I'll put Sun Tzu to tank infantry against infantry and then get my archers to do the damage. Minamoto is going to get wrecked in here against the infantry, but that's okay. While this plays, there are two things you should know about this. You can always skip a match, or you can watch it to understand what happened. In case you skip a match and you lose, or you win and you want to understand why, you can always replay, which I'll show you how to do in a moment. So as you can see, our strategy is working fairly well. Our Richard is super tanky against these three marches, and his Richard is already gone. Our Richard is barely in yellow. The four marches are now going up against Mehmed, and Mehmed is going to have a very, very, very hard time. He is about to go down. Richard is still tanking, and now we're going up against the Yi Song-ye, the forward march of that middle area. So that's our next target. This is where Minamoto is going to shine a little bit and help us with this Yi Song-ye. From there, we're going to go target the Scipio Africanus, who was in the back in that center. And then finally, we have Cao Cao in the final top march. As you can see, our Richard tanked very, very well. And with Sun Tzu being the next target, Sun Tzu is holding very good against Cao Cao and against that Scipio. And finally, there goes Cao Cao in a 3v1 victory for our side. 25-minute speed ups, 10,000 XP, and the shield, the chest we wanted. You can always go into history, click on this right here. You can see the stats of the match and click replay to watch how it went in case you just decided to skip. Personally, I prefer, if I forget to do this, to just click, win, lose, doesn't matter. So long as you're doing these, you're getting your chests daily. You don't want to miss out on chests. Let's go to challenge a revenge a friend in here who has kind of the same amount of power that I do, but his setup is very heavy with a little bit of cavalry and infantry, an Alexander DPS, the tank in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave this setup as is. Sun Tzu will be the next target after our Richard is taken out. And I believe we should be able to take this guy out, although this Alexander really scares me. Let's take a peek at this fight and see how it works out. Again, there is a set amount of time. You got to get rid of these marches, 2 minutes. And I don't believe we're not going to be able to either side take each other out within 2 minutes. March starting very early on. We are looking at a very good attack by him. He's healing super well. My Richard is having a really tough time, but now the damage is coming in by the archers and we catch up. The thing is, we get rid of his first, and now we're going up against another infantry march. That Sun Tzu of his is taking massive damage, but so is mine. My Sun Tzu is much weaker, and he will fall as the lights turn off mid-march. It looks like his Alexander is doing really, really well, and the trap in here with the cavalries in the back is going to hurt my Ramses really, really bad. And I don't believe we're going to win this match in a 2v3 where my Cavs are barely alive, and we have now an infantry march. Edward really trying to get rid of this Alexander, but his Cao Cao is really going to do damage to me. This is going to be a very close match, but because of the setup he has, infantries and cavalries, he really managed to counter me very, very well. And I believe this is going to be a bad revenge for us. Defeat once more. And what can we do? We're gonna leave this video here. I hope you guys understand the basic mechanics of Sunset Canyon. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, or anything, in the comments down below. If you wanna share with me your setups and things like that, we can try to set up a Discord room that is discreet, that you can send a message and only I can see it. That way I can help you set up your marches without folks knowing what you're setting up. If you want that, make sure you're dropping likes on the video, as well as let me know in the comments down below. In the next few videos, we'll talk a little bit more mechanics, setups, why I lost that match, how it works, and how you can get better, as well as show you some of the better setups that folks like Pepe, Hulk, 17, Moo, and company have set up. For now, I'm Gekko. I'm out of here. Thank you guys very much for watching this video, dropping a like on it, subscribing to the channel. I appreciate all the continuous support. Thank you for making my dream come true slowly and steadily, and I'll see you guys sooner rather than later. Take care. Peace.